Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning, 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres mind, finishing off, Maamar, hey. Before we start, give some tzedakah, G'dei tzedakah, Shmakaras Zagula. It's Hashem to the Zchus of the tzedakah. Should bring Yeshua, Parnas Barchava, and only good for all the Yidden, especially in Eretz Yisroel, and especially the people in Gaza, Yidden in Gaza. And we're learning for all the Yidden Eretz Yisroel, and specifically the soldiers and the hostages. And specifically, we're going to focus on today for Sharon ben Limor. And Hashem ben Limor should come back safely, healthily, and should have enough of this Galus Mashiach. And also for Yosef Yitzchak ben Simcha, they should be safe. Him and his unit and his chevra, with all the soldiers, and all the soldiers that are sick should be better. And through the Zchus of our learning and our avoid on ourselves should help the situation. Okay, let's finish off the Maamar Hey. It was Maamar Hey Perek Gimel. So we're talking about it, essentially we're discussing this whole Hey coming down. That doesn't want to, and we said basically there's two reasons. One is because everything by nature wants to go back up to its source. So the Hey's source is in Hashem, Hu Shmei Levad, as it says here in his name, and the Hey is like the name of Hashem, comes from like Hey is like the second Hey of Hashem's four-letter name, Yud K and the Vav and the Hey. It's this last Hey, and that's like Malchus. And that is the source for the lower world and ultimately all the way to our physical world. So by nature, Malchus wants to go up. The Hay wants to go back up to its source. And that's the nature of everything. And the other reason is because when it comes down and it creates a world, it understands that with that ability to create a world, also creates opportunity for separation and for people doing Averis and things, and things happening going against Hashem's will. So he doesn't want to be part of that. And ultimately it does have to be. And we'll discuss today, Mitzvah Hashem, why ultimately it's all worth it. So there, in Yun Galus HaShechina, so this is the idea of the Galus of the Shechina. Shenas al yedei ma'aseh haroim shel ha'adam lamata. That happens through the bad thing the person does below. Like it says in Yeshaya, uvefish echem Shalchu imachem, with their sins they sent you with them. Meaning the Hainu, Shiur, the Hashpas, Bechinas Hey Hanal, that descended this Hey, V'nishtal Shala, Madregal went down from level to level. It descended from level to level, from highest levels all the way down and down and down. Lamata Mata Achnis Labsha Hashpas, B'yud spheres to Noiga, until it goes down into the 10 spheres of Noiga, which is literally like it's like shining, but it's like klipas noiga. Umashpas shefa v'chayus al yedei hamazalis, and it gives its hashpa, its flow, it's giving through the mazalis v'chal tzva shemayim, and all the heavenly hosts, constellations, vasarim, and the ministers shaleim that are on them, l'chal chai gashmi, to all physical things. That's in this physical world. That's why I didn't want to go down and diminish itself and go down. Because it realizes it goes down, like we said before, that it's going to come and it's going to give life to everything. And ultimately, it can go into Galus. And it can bring God into Galus with it. And this is the worst thing. It reminds me of years ago. This is, many years ago, I was in Shiur, and I had a bring. And one time, my Shiur was saying that the Rebbe is with you. The Rebbe is always with you. So one of the Baruchim said, he goes, but I don't always want the Rebbe with me. Not everything that I'm doing is something that I want the Rebbe to be with me. So the Rebbe said back to him, he goes, you're a fool. He goes, the Rebbe is always with you. Like, and I guess what he's trying to say is this guy was trying to cheat the system. That I want to be connected with the Rebbe. I do what the Rebbe wants. And then I want the Rebbe to see me very proud of me. And then there's times I want to do my own thing. I want to be, this is the Yeshus thing. And I'm edging God out. I want to do my own thing. And the Rebbe, come back later. I'm busy now doing my own thing. And so he said, you're full. Like the Rebbe's always with you. The Rebbe's always there. The Rebbe's always connecting with you. And this is and this is what we're saying with the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is always there. It's always with us. And that's why the Shekhinah doesn't want to come down, but he doesn't want to have to deal with this. But this is our job, to try to overcome these trials and tribulations. And again, very important to realize that this is part of the makeup of the world. We can't think to ourselves, I need to be perfect. That's not true, and that's not reality, and that's not how we're meant to be. Hashem didn't want us to be perfect. He wants us to have this struggle. And ultimately, when we make the right choice on those times that we do, it makes it all worth it. That's what we're going to learn now. Kitzur, the summary on page 97 on the green Kuntres mine. Ois Yud, the letter Yud is the Makir Chaya Neshamas, is the source for the life of the Neshamas. The Ois Hey, the last Hey of Shem Havaye, is Makir Chayas Eilamis, the source for the life of the world. Nikre Shechina, it's called the Shechina. Now, in every world, Heichal Kodesh Kodashim, you have the Kodesh Kodashim, and within the person, it's like it's the lave of the Olam, it's the heart of just like we have the heart, which is like an important, terrible part, and that pumps blood to everything, keeps us alive. And so too, in every world, they have this Kodesh Kodashim level. L'chi umati atzmeich, and Hashem said to Malchus, to this Yud, this Hey, to diminish yourself. And go down to the lowest of levels. And that caused that Malchus has this big desire, this last Hey have this huge desire to go back up. And through doing bad things, wrong things, we cause the Galus of Shechina. Because the Shechina comes down and creates things, and creates us, creates our physical bodies. And when we take that physical body and we do not the right thing, we forget to make a bracha, or we don't do it, or we don't do something we're meant to do. Not just we didn't do what we're meant to do, but we cause that Shechina to be in Galus. And that is Eis Maamar Hey. Now we're going to go to Maamar Vav. Parak Aleph. So now we're going to go back to more practical, down to earth, the nitty gritty, the muddy stuff. Parak Aleph. V'hinei hapisui, the foolishness, shalzeh amar, alzeh amar la Kodesh Baruch Hu l'chilamait. This instruction Hashem said to the moon that you go diminish yourself. Who tzadikim yikaru al shemecha. And he said that tzaddikim is going to be called your name. Because the moon said, it's true, I'm big, and the sun is big. It doesn't make any sense. It's like two kings can't rule in the same place. So Hashem said, you're right, we're gonna diminish you. So the moon said, hey, what am I, why do I get diminished? What's going to be? I'm going to be a nobody. So Hashem said, don't worry, you're going to be called diminished, and there's going to be a lot of people using that name as well. It's going to be a Maila. Like today, being humble and bittul is a very big thing. It's we wish we could be more like that. Of course, doesn't mean I think I'm a nobody. It means I recognize my true essence and I don't have an ego involved. And it's all godliness. Shmuel Akatan, David Akatan. Like, for example, Shmuel the small, David the small. And this is a Maila. They do so as a special title they got. The idea is like this. It's just like the descent of the neshama, that it gets included into the body. And the nefesh Bahamis, Ashahu alul his gael, it could become debased, become low. The neshama comes in, the neshama is all pure and pristine, wants to do all these good things, and then the body has to deal with. And unfortunately, as we all probably know, there's the struggles. And it doesn't always work out the way, and we don't necessarily always listen to on Nefesh Elokis. We don't even necessarily recognize that we should be listening to Nefesh Elokis. And all the ways are dangerous. It's a very dangerous situation over here, because there's all ways we can fall and falter and do the wrong thing. Because on the opening, the sin is crouching. Sin is ready to pounce on us and to get us to do the wrong thing. And like we said in the beginning when we started learning this, and this is sort of a lot of Chassidus, A lot of chassidus is being able to recognize who is talking when. And of course, it's all within ourselves. We're not talking to ourselves, but recognizing the voices that we're telling ourselves. When we tell ourselves we're not good, that's one voice. When we tell ourselves good job, that's another voice. And we having this desire to do something, that's another voice. And we have to recognize these voices that are happening. They're all happening, just being attuned to it. And then recognizing which one's the right voice, which one's the one I should be listening to, which one's the one I should be listening to. And sometimes it's very hard to even make that decision, to know. But the first and foremost is knowing this. And we have, that's what we're saying, in there's a sin waiting to crouch, he's crouching and waiting to pounce on us. You know, when we do something wrong, it's like the famous story that I heard at different versions, but we'll use the Chassidish version, that there was a Rav, a teacher and a student, and they were going, I had to cross like a river. And there was an old lady trying to cross, but like it was too dangerous for her. So the Rav picked her up and he took her across and put her down, and they kept on walking. And as they keep on walking, like 2 miles later, the student says, teacher, like, you need to explain yourself. She says, no, Allah, you can't Sharon again, and you carried her. What's going on? So he said, it's true. He goes, but I put her down and you're still carrying her. One of the biggest challenges, the biggest mistakes that we do is not the avera that we do, which is bad enough. It's the depression and the putting ourselves down afterwards. And the best thing we can do to really like stick it to the Yetzer Hara is when we do the wrong thing, we know it's wrong, is do something good and just move on as quickly as possible and say, I'm good, I have an nefesh l'kis, I'm connected, and I'm going to take this shechina out of galus by doing something good. I'll give some tzedakah, I'll say some tehillim, I'll learn something, I'll call a friend, I'll have some Eretz Yisroel. That's the best thing you can do. Nevertheless, even though every way there's a sakana is dangerous, and even though the sin's waiting at every corner, but nevertheless, the descent of the neshama into the body, into nefesh bahamis, and to deal with all these issues that we deal with, it's worth it. Why? Through this neshama, being clothed in the body and the nefesh bahamis, asher alul his goel. Chas v'shalom, that it's very likely that it'll get defiled. Nevertheless, we withstand the test in every detail of it. And we overcome that spirit of desire, of that lust that we have for whatever it is. We don't get pulled after the desire of the Yetzer Hara. And we're very careful in making sure not to do what we shouldn't do, and making sure to do what we should do. And all its details, we try very hard, and when we push through, we manage. And the physical world doesn't get in the way of us doing Torah and mitzvahs, of getting in the way of us doing Torah and Avodah. And Adrabah, Kol Inyanav Hagashmim Shemurchach Behem Heim Bekavan L'Shem Shemayim. And on the contrary, every physical thing we're in contact with, we're doing it L'Shem Shemayim. Meaning, I'm eating. Why am I eating this? Not because it tastes good. Nothing wrong with it tasting good, but I'm eating it because I say to myself, hey, what is going to give me a better day? What's going to give me more energy to be able to do the rest of the day more productive? And I'll eat that. So that becomes the same Shemayim. Just like eating, not for the sake of just fulfilling our desire, our pleasure, for my body to exist, my body to be strong and healthy. And in order that with this eating that we eat, we're able to daven and learn. And we do daven and learn be'emes. Not just we have an intention to do it, we actually manage to do it. And so when we go to work, or any other mundane thing that we do, we do it all kosher. When we do things, it's very kosher. We don't do any things that are a little shady. And we ask ourselves, is this kosher or is this not 100% kosher? And we do that. And we don't get stuck into it like when we're working. We're not totally consumed and bothered. And when we come times to learn or times to do other things, we're still bothered. We can't take ourselves away from it. When it's time for davening, we can daven. When it's time for Shabbos, we can think about Shabbos things and not work. In the way it doesn't get in the way of our davening and learning. And the intent of when we go to work, or the intent of anything that we do, is not to be able to make money or to achieve whatever we're trying to achieve, and to be able to give from this. Whatever we're doing, whether it's here in the case of work, we're working in order that we can make money. That money we can also give some to tzedakah, or whatever it is you're doing. We're having purpose. I'm learning this subject. I'm going to university. I'm learning so I can have the ability to have parnassus, so I can give money, or I have the ability to help people with whatever it is I'm learning. And we'll give ourselves some time to daven and learn. To learn. So when we have that, so realizing that that's what's going on, this major situation is happening, and when we overcome and when we manage to do those things, the right things, manage to eat properly, to go to sleep properly, take care of ourselves with the intention, with the thought process that that's going to help me, then it's all worth it, even though it's dangerous, but it's worth it. And you can say it in a very simple, very, I guess, harsh way, but think about it in terms of the war going on in Israel. The war is dangerous and it's not good. And, and unfortunately, Israeli citizens are dying. And soldiers go in, and every day, unfortunately, soldiers die, and also ones get injured. But here we're saying, if the ultimate, in the end, if you get peace, meaning it's good for Israel in the way that it's really good, not just a half, but really good, then it's all worth it. And so to here, it's a big challenge, big danger and sakana. But if we can make the right choice, and every time we do, we make it all worth it. And this is what we should also appreciate. All of us, we should realize when the choices are happening, make the right choices, and celebrate the right choices. Have an amazing day.